Morocco. It all starts at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on Fox TV. And in the WNBA, the Sparks beat the Fever in LA 106-92.
Live from the heart of SEC country, this is your daily fix of grit, guts, and gridiron glory. Welcome to the Deep South College Football Show.
Bowen, here it goes! Georgia retakes the lead!
Breaking down the biggest matchups, the boldest takes, and the deepest rivalries in college football on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Intercepted! They confused him! Xavier Brown headed the other way! Touchdown Tide!
From Fayetteville to Gainesville, from the Grove to Toomer's Corner, it's SEC football.
Chambers delivers! Touchdown!
Now, here's your award-winning host, Wyatt Fulton.
And welcome into another edition of the Deep South College Football Show right here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. We got Whitman hanging out with us here in the Tide 100.9 studios. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right today. Wyatt, how are you?
I'm good. Golf game, you said didn't go your way today.
No, I played okay. I shot an 85.
Okay.
Hit the ball well on some holes, hit the ball not so well on some holes. 16, I'll brag about one shot before we get on with our day. 16 at Tall Pines where I work and play at, long par 4, 450 yards. And it's not the easiest hole to par, not because of its length, but there is a ravine in between the green and your approach shot. And I believe in the 10 rounds I've played this summer, I've gone at the green twice. Today was one of those times. I had 203 to the middle of the green, pulled my 6-iron and stuck it to about 15 feet. So The back pain is worth that shot. But I've had much worse days on the course, so not a lot to complain about.
So you sound like you're a little bit like Shane Beamer in South Carolina. Sometimes you're really freaking good, 9-3, 2024, and then sometimes you go 4-8.
Sometimes Shane Beamer is pulling his 5-iron from 215 yards off the green, sticking that thing, making his birdie putt, and then other days I don't know what club I want to pull out of my bag because I'm scared all of them could go wrong.
I would say some days, you're nailing that thing down the middle of the fairway, and some days you pull out the iron on the tee box because you have no idea what that driver's going to do today. And that seems to be the case with South Carolina. The last couple of seasons under Shane Beamer, they've been very, very good in 2024. They were lost a couple of one-possession games that ultimately kept them out of the playoff as a 9-3 team. The one that sticks out most in my mind is the 2-point loss to Alabama in Tuscaloosa, where Lenore Sellers and Nick Harbor scored the touchdown to give them a chance, and then they turn right back around and throw a game-losing interception to Damani Jackson. And think about that Ole Miss game, too.
That was a close game in Tuscaloosa 2 years ago. 11 a.m. kick, 2-point conversion. Would that have tied it or won it? It would have tied it, correct?
Believe it would have tied it, yeah.
That was a scary game to deal with.
Last season too, when Alabama goes to Columbia, South Carolina, you got to go play in Williams-Brice, one of the most underrated places to play in the SEC. You lead Alabama very late in that game. The Tide scores, the Tide gets a fumble, and then suddenly here comes Jeremy Bernard on a 25-yard wildcat, and Alabama essentially walks it off on you. Keon Keeley gets a sack to end that ball game. And so a lot of one-score losses last season for South Carolina. They've made some changes here on the coaching staff, firing offensive coordinator Mike Shula, bringing in a new guy here. They've changed the entire offensive line. But a lot of what South Carolina's success depends on this season is this guy right here. It is one Mr. Lenore Sellers, is where Whitman, a vast majority of South Carolina's success is going to be dependent on what happens with number 16 in Garnet and Black.
No, I think he is what you live and die by as a South Carolina fan, quite frankly, as a South Carolina coach this year. If he plays well and the offensive line gives him reason to play well, gives him the opportunity to do so, they're a 10 to 12 seeded team, and they could win a playoff game. If he's not, you're kind of you've got Nick Harbor but nobody to throw to, and a really good running quarterback with troubles passing down the field at times.
I mean, go back and look at this play right here against Virginia Tech if you're checking us out on YouTube here. it just shrugs off a defender. I mean, made that look almost effortless here when you look at Lenore Sellers in South Carolina. So there's some place where you look at him and you go, okay, this is somebody with a bright, bright future. He's just got to be able to put it all together. He's got the cannon for the arm, as you see on that same throw against Virginia Tech there to Nick Harbor. He's got a cannon of an arm. He can shake off defenders at ease. He can break away. He's got that breakaway speed down the field for Lenore Sellers here. So a vast majority of what South Carolina looks like this season is going to be based on what happens with number 16 there. However, he is not the only person on that offensive side of the football for South Carolina. You look at a projected depth chart here. You return Nick Harbor, who is an absolute burner on the offensive side of the football, but hasn't quite put every single piece together, right? It seems like we're still waiting on the consistency from Nick Harbor. Is it the hands? Does he deal with a lot of the same issues that big athletic receivers deal with, in that they haven't really had to attack the football with their hands because they're normally 15 yards open in high school?
Or 3 feet above everybody else trying to cover them.
That too. I mean, Nick Harbor's a massive human being with track level speed. I mean, he's just a ridiculous athlete. And they've got him playing wide receiver. He could have played edge rusher. He could have played any position he wanted to. And he's out there playing wide receiver for South Carolina. They also brought in Nitro Tuggle, transfer from Purdue by way of Georgia. Originally started his career at Georgia. Last season at Purdue, 500 yards, 4 touchdowns for Mr. Tuggle there. Hell of a name for a wide receiver. Nitro Tuggle. I don't know that you can get much better for a name for a wide receiver.
I know he sure
other than Speedy
have the name of a insurance salesman. That's for sure.
No,
you
no,
can't
absolutely
bag groceries
not.
And your name be Nitro Tuggle. You're either kind of a football player or an action movie star.
Yeah, like with a name like that, you got to be something stellar. And hopefully for Nitro Tuggle in South Carolina this season, he is here. You've also brought back Mazeo Bennett Jr. From last season there. Didn't get a ton of reps last year, only 10 catches for 62 yards, but it's a guy that knows South Carolina. He knows what the expectation is in Columbia. I want to say he is a junior, so he was a freshman during that season where South Carolina went and did a lot of really good things and could have made the college football playoff if a one-score game had gone the opposite direction than it did in 2024. Again, we talked about Lenore Sellers being back at quarterback there, a very, very versatile athlete for South Carolina. Brady Hunt's back at tight end, 21 catches for 168 yards last season here for the Gamecocks. Running back's an interesting spot because they lost their guy from last season. You retained Matt Fuller, who got sparing carries last year, 72 attempts, 260 yards, 2 touchdowns, averaged 3.6 yards per carry. Matt Fuller did there for South Carolina last season. But Whitman, South Carolina, their offensive line was, in the nicest way that I can put this from last season, their offensive line was abysmal. I mean, you see it in these clips. Half these clips are Lenore Sellers getting hit in the backfield and then making chicken salad out of chicken crap, because I can't say the way that phrase actually goes on the radio. Making chicken salad out of chicken crap when you look at, the chaos that's happening in the pocket there.
I mean, are we sure he's that fast, or is he just that strong that when he gets hit, he's able to use that into positive momentum and acceleration? Like, how fast really is he? And how much of this getting out of the pocket is him just getting smoked by a defensive end and just not staying down and using it to propel him forward? Because he seems to do that quite a bit.
You see it here, and these clips are courtesy of New Era Mia on X. But I mean, there's one against Clemson, right? How the hell does he get out of that thing? How the hell did he get out of that play? And by the way, now that's a 50-yard run for Lenore Sellers against Clemson right there. The clip right here against Virginia Tech in the season opener, right? Left guard gets whipped. Lenore Sellers shrugs off a guy and shrugs off a second guy, and now he's into the open field making a play exactly the way that you want him to go make a play. And when he's got a clean pocket, like you kind of see on this clip right here, he more than likely is going to have somebody open downfield, and you see the arm that he's got, the arm strength, the arm talent that he's got there.
If somebody wanted to hop on Twitter during that Virginia Tech season opener and just push an abomination of a Lenore Sellers Heisman agenda within like the first 30 minutes of the season starting, I would not have blamed them after watching this.
I think
game.
a lot of people did.
I mean, this dude was like, they were fitting him for a suit to go to New York in already. And then, of course, the rest of the season happened.
We talked about the offensive line last season. This season, Whitman, all 5 of their starting offensive linemen are expected to be transfer players, right? And it starts with Jacarius Peak, the big redshirt senior from NC State, who is expected to be the starting left tackle for South Carolina. Now, Jacarius Peak did suffer an injury in, I think, in a 3v3 basketball tournament that he was playing in February. Not season ending. They are expecting him to be ready to go by maybe not the first game of the season. I'm sure we'll hear from Shane Beamer in Tampa, Florida. By the way, SEC Media Days, we're less than 2 weeks away from SEC Media Days. We will be in Tampa, Whitman, myself, and Ryan Fowler. We will all be in Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days here coming up in just a couple of weeks there. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to get down there and see what the rest of the SEC's got going on.
Little interested to see what Shane Beamer has to say about this reinvented offensive line after a session of spring ball. Now they've had some time to, I don't want to say kick back and relax, but rest up a little bit, get ready for fall camp. I'm pretty sure he's got a solid idea right now going into the season what it's going to look like. Now, maybe you haven't had the Jacarius Peak, Collins Stewart one-on-ones in practice that you would have liked to have seen had he been healthy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, hey, big boys got to play basketball.
Jacarius Peak coming over from NC State. Hank Purvis coming over from Purdue. You also brought in a new center in Carter Miller, the transfer player there from Central Florida. At right guard, you've got Emmanuel Kojo Poku. Yes, that is his name, Emmanuel Kojo Poku from East Carolina. And then you brought in Dane Arnett from Ferris State. Well, if the last Ferris State transfer that we all knew about did pretty well, maybe this guy could be just that good. Don't count him out. Just because he came from D2, just because he came from Ferris State does not mean that it's somebody that you should count out here. So, but a revamped offensive line here when you look at South Carolina. They fired their O-line coach midway through last season, fired Mike Shula as the offensive coordinator. They've revamped this offensive side of the football. And when I look at Shane Beamer, he's a guy that is beloved in Columbia, South Carolina. They love the personality. They love him as a person, as a coach, just an individual. He's a good guy. And normally, if you are a good guy, you tend to get maybe an extra season, right? If you're just an absolute jerk of a coach and you suck, I forget who said it, but somebody said, it may have been you, Whitman. You may have been the one that introduced me to this. You can be one of two things in college football. You can either be a horrible person or you can suck at your job. The minute you start doing both, that's when you're out the door. Yeah, I think mine was, they were talking about Kentucky and Coach Stoops had said you can either be good or you can be exciting on one side of the ball, but you can't be dead and bad. And that's what he was. But I guess the same applies here. Of course, Shane Beamer learned from one of the best. I mean, I grew up a lot around a lot of Virginia Tech fans at the end of the Frank Beamer era. You would not have met a person in Blacksburg during his tenure there that would not have let Frank Beamer raise their child if for some reason the circumstances came up. I mean, it's a phenomenal family, phenomenal football family. Frank Beamer was a great dude, and it is obvious that he has raised Shane to be, an outstanding citizen just as well as a good football coach. So that's the offensive side of the ball here for South Carolina. Excuse me, just got like a random thing. I swallowed some spit in the wrong way. So we're going to go ahead and take a timeout for the radio side of things here so that way I can collect myself because I'm going to spend the next 15 minutes oohing and gooing over Dylan Stewart. That's how good of a football player he is. And the rest of the South Carolina defense, we'll talk about them as well here on the Deep South College Football Show on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th live from Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa. We'll bring you press conferences, live interviews, and updates from all 16 teams in the Southeast.
When the world's biggest matches are on, it's the perfect excuse to get together with friends, enjoy every goal, every save, every celebration, and have a little fun. But this year, have fun and still remember the score. If you love vodka without the hangover or loss of control, check out RK Zero Proof Vodka. RK is redefining what alcohol-free can taste like. Since 2011, RK has delivered the familiar burn without the alcohol. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 regrets. Drink differently. Get yours at rkbeverages.com.
Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram. Lease a new 2026 Chrysler Pacifica Select for $421 a month for 42 months, $39.99 due at signing.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
That thousands off new and pre-owned at Tuscaloosa, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. TuscaloosaCDJR.com.
And no tax, right, sir?
Well,
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida. Presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July the 20th for a week of content from Tampa, Florida, live at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino in Choctaw, Mississippi.
From kickoff to the final whistle, we've got you covered. Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
Welcome back into the Deep South College Football Show right here on Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. We're talking a little South Carolina Gamecock football here as we continue our SEC previews with the South Carolina Gamecocks here. And now we get to talk about one of the best defenders in not just the SEC, but the entire country. And that is one Mr. Dylan Stewart here in Columbia, South Carolina here. These clips are courtesy of NFL_DF on X here. Whitman, I look at these clips, man, and I don't know what to say. I mean, this dude is just filthy good.
If this makes sense, I think South Carolina has like the exact same player on both sides of the football, with Nick Harbor on offense and Dylan Stewart.
That's kind of what it looks like.
I mean, these dudes are like the exact same thing with just two different motives. One goes and gets the football to score points. The other one goes and gets the football to stop points from being scored. But they both do it fast and they both do it violently.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know what to say. Like it is. We're a sports talk station, right? Obviously, so pardon the language here. It's almost orgasmic watching him play football. That is legit. When you watch an edge rusher with that level of speed, power, dominance, I mean, this is just phenomenal getting to watch an edge rusher like this.
Maybe we go fulfilling or satisfying. Maybe even.
No, that's how good he is.
Okay. I mean, hey, look, whatever grinds your gears, man.
Hey, man, you said worse. Yeah, exactly. So Dylan Stewart, not the only South Carolina defender on this defense that's coming back. Actually, one of 10 returning defenders here with 4.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles last season, 12 tackles for loss, 8 quarterback hurries. He also had 2 pass breakups while he was at it here. 10 out of the 11 defenders on this South Carolina defense were on this roster last season. You also have in that front four defensively, Gabriel Brinlow-Dindy as the defensive tackle there, who is a very underrated defensive tackle. 6 solo tackles, yes, but 18 total, 1 tackle for loss, 2 quarterback hurries. But he's a guy that's just a big body in the middle of a defense. Like, you cannot run on Gabriel Brinlow-Dindy there. Yeah, by the way, whoever South Carolina was playing in that last clip there, they just held the crap out of Dylan Stewart here on this last play.
Go back
just
to
mauled that guy.
one more time.
Mug that guy.
I just looked up his height after watching a play like that. The bend from this guy to just go right underneath offensive tackles.
Yeah.
He's 6'5", getting and his helmet's playing 5 feet off the ground.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that I ever see him stand up on a football. He's not standing at his full height on a football field. He's always hunched over. He's always, they always say lowest man wins in the trenches.
He wins a lot.
Unless you're 5'8", I don't know that you can get lower than Dylan Stewart. And if you're 5'8", you're probably not playing football. And if you are, you sure as hell are not playing in the trenches.
And you're not as good as he is.
Definitely not. So, I mean, yeah, no. I mean, his explosivity, his burst, his speed, his power is just utterly ridiculous. Alongside Brinlow Dindy at defensive tackle there, they've got Troy Pikes, who previously was at Georgia Southern before transferring to South Carolina a couple of seasons ago. 16 total tackles last season. It's kind of sad here because I look at these South Carolina stats and I look at this South Carolina roster, and I'm a little disappointed in the stats of everybody else. Anthony Addison is a guy who redshirt freshman, so he redshirted last season, had 1 total tackle. So I'm a little disappointed in the stats for the rest of South Carolina. And then I come back because I've got 2 tabs open, right? I've got one for our show here and the clips, and then I've got one for the depth chart that I'm looking at here, the projected depth chart for South Carolina. So I'm really sad looking at the stats for some of these other South Carolina defenders, and then I come back to talk here on the stream or on the channel, and then I get to watch Dylan Stewart play again, and it's like, oh, okay, that's why none of South Carolina's other defenders had any stats last season, because number 6 had them all.
Yeah, he's beating them to a lot of sacks. He's beating them to a lot of pressures. Quarterbacks are chucking the ball because they're scared of him, which will lower the sack numbers for fellow defenders. But also, I mean, are we just talking about the fact that maybe it's Lenore Sellers-esque where there's just nobody that's putting up numbers on their own? It's pretty much just he is the world's biggest Band-Aid on top of what is otherwise a not bad, but subpar defense.
Well, but I mean, you look at some of these clips. All right, there's Dylan Stewart just wrecking shop in the backfield there. There he is again. The defensive end on the other side had beaten his man, and Stewart had just already forced the guy out of the pocket by the time that play happened. Here he is on the right side of the offense there. All right, they ran a stunt on the left side of the offensive line. South Carolina did. The guy got home, but Dylan Stewart already had the ball out of the quarterback's hands by that point.
Yeah, it's either a mix of Dylan Stewart's just beating them to the stats, or Dylan Stewart is the only one getting back there to earn stats. Moral of the story, Dylan Stewart is more times than not in the backfield.
Moral of the story, Dylan Stewart, good at football here. At the linebacker position here, a name that Alabama fans should be familiar with, Justin Okoronkwo, was previously at the University of Alabama in 2023, left to Crimson Tide following Coach Saban's retirement, started last season for South Carolina. By the way, a Germany native. You don't often see Germans coming to the States to play football, but he had 64 total tackles, 4 tackles for loss, an interception, and a pass breakup last season. You also got Fred Johnson at inside linebacker, who had 61 total tackles last season, and then Vakari Swain, a redshirt junior who's been kind of a consistent playmaker for South Carolina's defense, but I don't know, at corner here at least, he's been a very consistent playmaker for South Carolina's defense. He was opposite of Brandon Sissy the last couple of seasons here, and Whitman, you and I know Brandon Sissy because he got drafted in the 2nd round by Green Bay. So Vakari Swain is another cornerback on that South Carolina team. He's back this upcoming season here. David Busey, I don't know, Bucey. We're going to go Busey.
Better than Bucky.
David Bucky. You know what? Somebody get this man a Bucky sponsorship right now. Change the pronunciation of his name. Somebody get this man a Bucky sponsorship here.
Columbia is not that far from Florence.
It's not.
And I think it's one of either the 2nd or 3rd biggest Bucky's in America right now does reside in Florence, South Carolina.
I actually stayed in Florence when we went to go cover the Alabama-South Carolina game last season.
But you took a trip over to the gas station, didn't you?
Oh, 110%. I made a trip to the gas station on my way into town on Friday, made a stop by the gas station on my way to the game on Saturday, and then on the way home Sunday, made another stop at the gas station.
Get one of those bucket hats?
I didn't get a bucket hat. No, I got a brisket sandwich. every single time.
It's so good, but it for some reason, after about 2/3 of it, I always regret it. I don't know why. It just doesn't sit on my stomach the right way.
To be fair, it is still a gas station brisket sandwich.
At the end of the day. It is.
At the end of the day. It is what it is. Damn good food, though. David Busey there for South Carolina at safety. Peyton Williams, the redshirt senior, back at free safety. 39 solo tackles, 50 total last season. Also had 2 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. The lone newcomer, Judge Collier, by the way, as well, at right cornerback here from Rock Hill, South Carolina. 28 tackles. Another really, really good ball player there. The only newcomer that is projected to start right now on the South Carolina defense is Quashid Scott from Kentucky, so he played for Mark Stoops last season. So we know, all right, this is a really good defensive player if he was able to make it on the field for a Mark Stoops defense. So Quashid Scott there. They also went and picked up Kelby Collins, another defensive tackle, this one from the University of Alabama. They've actually got a decently heavy former Alabama presence on this defense. Justin Okoronkwo transferred from Alabama to South Carolina. Kelby Collins transferred from Alabama to South Carolina. Fred Johnson's reserve, kind of his backup, or the guy that he's going to split reps with, is Sean Murphy, who started his career at Alabama, went to Florida State, and is now a member of South Carolina. So a lot of good defenders on this roster. The talent is absolutely there. It's just, can the execution level match what it needs to in Columbia?
Sounds like Alabama's a feeder pipeline for both Ohio State and South Carolina.
It kind of does seem like that a little bit here.
Good for us. Good for us.
Hey, so much talent in Tuscaloosa that we just said, you know what, here, we'll share it with the rest of the SEC or the rest of college football here. Clayton White is the defensive coordinator there, a 5-time Broyles Award nominee, most recently in 2024 as a semifinalist. 23-year veteran, entering his 6th season in Columbia, South Carolina there. This is a really good coordinator. This is a really, really good defensive coordinator. A very good defensive mind as well. He does a really good job getting stunts, twists, blitzes, very well-timed plays from this defensive coordinator, or play calls, I should say, from this defensive coordinator. Now, when you have a guy like Dylan Stewart, whose highlights we've been watching for the last 15 minutes or so now, when you have a guy like that, it feels like it's pretty easy to call defense in college football, but you still got to have guys outside of that to go and make the plays, right? Because like we said yesterday with Trinidad Chambliss and Ole Miss, yeah, you may have the best player on that side. You may have the best player on the field, whether it be, your defensive end is the best player out of the 22 guys on the field at the time, or your quarterback's the best player out of the 22 guys on the field at the time. You may have the best player on the field at that exact moment. But if the other team's got 2 through 11, 2 through 10, you're probably not going to have success. So South Carolina, they've got to have guys outside of Dylan Stewart that can go and make plays here for them defensively. Is it weird to say I trust South Carolina on defense at this point? Like, I trust that defense to go make the plays to put the offense in position to succeed.
You might as well. They competed in a lot of football games despite their offensive line. And, I mean, normally when an offensive line is just poor, like abysmally poor, like Alabama's was, or LSU's was, or South Carolina's was. I mean, you see teams with like bad records, and yes, that 4-8 was bad, but I mean, South Carolina was in a lot of games with some good teams late in the game. I mean, example, Alabama. So for a defense to be able to keep Alabama in a close game with a team that like is no real threat to drive down the field constantly because of their offensive line, I'm led to believe it. Like I said, it's not a bad defense. It may be a little subpar, but subpar plus Dylan Stewart equals marginal to slightly above average.
I mean, nobody scored more than 31 points on them. It looks like last season. Yeah, the losses to Vandy was 31 in a game where Sellers went down in the first half.
In the second quarter.
A team quits in the second quarter because Lenore Sellers goes down. Missouri, beats them by 9 points. LSU beats them by 10 points. Oklahoma scores 26. Alabama scores 29. Ole Miss scored 30. And keep in mind, this is on November 1st. Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss are still part of this Ole Miss team.
Trinidad Chambliss, peak Lane Kiffin. I mean, yeah, they kept their team in a lot of football games.
Texas A&M 31-30. Clemson scored 28. So South Carolina never allowed more than 31 points last season.
No, they hovered around that number a lot, but yeah, I mean, in the SEC and big time college football, your offense has to go get 30 every now and again. Just have to. They have to.
You got to trust your offense to be able to go get 30 points. Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at this again here. Vanderbilt, okay, that's a wash. Sellers went down in that game. Missouri, 9-point game, right? LSU, 10-point game. Oklahoma, all right, that's another bludgeoning, 26-7 there. Alabama is a 1-score loss. Ole Miss, another bludgeoning. Texas A&M, that's a 1-point loss, right? Because Texas A&M had to storm back from, what was it, 30 down, or was it like 30-3 was the score of that game? So Texas A&M storms back from 30 down. Clemson is a 2-score loss there. So, I mean, that defense did a really, really good job of keeping South Carolina in a lot of ball games last season. It was the offensive side of the ball that was the problem. So we'll go ahead and take this next time out for our radio side of things here, and then we'll take a look at the schedule for the Gamecocks here next, here on the Deep South College Football Show.
Great atmosphere, outstanding customer service. Where they do that at? Bama Entertainment, where the odds are always in your favor. Take exit 45 off 2059, sponsored by Red.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th live from Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa. We'll bring you press conferences, live interviews, and updates from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026, presented to you by Taco Casa. Starting July the 20th, join us in Tampa, Florida for SEC Media Days 2026, brought to you by Taco Casa.
What does it mean to advertise and do your marketing with Town Square Media Tuscaloosa? Melissa started her business in 2014. What would you say to someone considering Town Square Media Tuscaloosa?
My experience with Town Square Media has been awesome, and I would definitely recommend it to anyone. I think that this is the first time in my marketing experience that I've been able to see my return on investment. I would definitely say in the past that has not been the case. In this, I like knowing that that's 100%. A lot of the marketing we've done has been radio. You guys have so much more to offer than that, whether it's, websites, from targeted marketing to radio. You are kind of a one-stop shop, and it makes doing marketing so much easier. So I would definitely recommend it.
For more
$9,000 for a free consultation, no fees unless we win. No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be formed is greater than that of other lawyers.
From yesterday's legends to tomorrow's stars. Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC.
No one better.
The home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
Welcome back to the Deep South College Football Show, talking a little South Carolina Gamecock football, and now we take a look at the schedule for South Carolina this upcoming season. Really not a bad start to open the season here. Kent State, Towson at home in the non-con in the first half of your non-con, right? Because South Carolina's permanent rival is Clemson, an ACC opponent within the state there. So two of your 3 non-con games will not be Clemson, but Clemson's always going to be that last one at the very end of the regular season there. So 2 of your 3 non-conference games, Kent State and Towson. I see no reason, no disrespect to the Golden Flashes and whatever Towson's mascot is. Maybe it looks like maybe the Tigers there.
I don't know. I can't remember. Like I said,
Let's see.
I said this to you a while ago when the schedules came out. I had a couple of buddies that I played high school football with that got offers from Towson. If an SEC football
Towson Tigers.
If an SEC football team is playing against a team that was offering people that I went to high school with, no disrespect, Alvin and the guys love them to death. We were not that kind of caliber of a football program.
Okay.
South Carolina, like Shane Beamer should get out there and play center. And just let's see what Lenore Sellers actually can do. And
so
we're gonna
okay.
Game.
So we're gonna hang 50 on Towson is what I just heard there
in the first half.
Okay. Maybe the backup quarterback gets some reps there against the Tigers. Again, no disrespect. If they're not 2-0, I don't see Shane. If they somehow are not 2-0, I don't see Shane Beamer making it to SEC play, much less the end of the season.
If they don't start 2-0, as much as I love Shane Beamer, I will personally drive to Columbia and escort him out of his house. And I will take away his key to get into the football facility.
A good buddy of mine's a South Carolina fan, or a student at South Carolina. I don't know that he's necessarily a fan. He's just supporting it because that's where he's currently going to school. Funny. I would immediately text him and be like, dude, what the hell is going on? If they don't start 2-0. Anyways, we move into SEC play now. That game against Mississippi State is going to be really, really interesting because that's going to be a game where it's at home, right? So South Carolina doesn't have to go on the road and deal with the cowbells, which is always a nice thing. But that's going to be a game that I'm going to watch, not because I think something major is going to happen, not because I think it's going to be, game of the year or anything like that, but I'm going to watch that because that game's going to tell me a lot about both Mississippi State and South Carolina. If South Carolina does hope to get back to that 2024 standard there, Mississippi State's a game that I'm going to keep an eye on and say, okay, that's a game that if you do hope to compete at a high level, if you do hope to still be competing at the end of the season after you look at the rest of that schedule and the gaudy teams that you've got to face there, you're going to have to handle Mississippi State. You can't win 21-20.
No.
You can't win that game 21-20 or 24-20. You got to win that game by 10-15 plus.
Yep.
If you're South Carolina.
I agree with you. This is like a trajectory-defining game for both State and South Carolina this year. Jeff Levy, if he can go on the road in the SEC and get a win, that is a morale boost for South Carolina or for Mississippi State that we haven't seen in a long time. But, you're exactly right. If South Carolina wants to be a playoff team, 3-0 is like the barest of bare minimums. Like the 3-0 is the baseline of expectation for what Shane Beamer wants his program to be.
You have to go 3-0. You have to get that opening win in the SEC play against Mississippi State. Week 4, Alabama. You've come very, very close to clipping Alabama twice. Matter of fact, the closest you got since 2010 came in Tuscaloosa in 2024 when Lenore Sellers had a last-second heave of desperation that ended up not working out in his favor.
I don't know what kind of coach networking Kalen DeBoer has done since being in the SEC. I don't know how friendly he is with the other 15. I don't know if he's got any golfing buddies throughout the conference. I would have to guess Shane Beamer's probably not one of them. Again, not because he's a bad dude, but if I were Kalen DeBoer, the hair on my neck would stand up every time he walks in a room.
At this point, I have no idea where Coach DeBoer lives in Tuscaloosa, but Tuscaloosa is a more rural area, right? It's not necessarily the big city, but so if he's living out, and he's got his own plot of land or whatever, or if somebody's got, chickens next to him or whatever, if there's a rooster, every morning when that rooster goes off, the hair on the back of my neck would stand up if I'm him. Because that's how close South Carolina. No. That's how close South Carolina's come to beating you twice now. And you got to deal with them a third time.
He's dreaming of Shane Beamer and his wife. Honey, what is wrong with you? Kalen DeBoer's waking up in night sweats. Cocktober.
Cocktober, man. And after that game against Alabama, we roll into Cocktober with South Carolina here. One of the most dangerous months for the Gamecocks. One of the most dangerous months for the Gamecocks because you look at this schedule and Cocktober is either going to be, they're either going to be at full attention or they're going to be flaccid. When you look at South Carolina here, I see the look on your face. Kentucky, you should handle them. You beat them at home, or you beat them on the road last season. Florida's another really, really interesting program here. I'm gonna do that while you kind of collect yourself here, Whitman.
Did you say full attention?
Go ahead, say that again.
Did you say full attention?
Yeah.
Okay. Hey, it's not on the sheet. You're good.
Hey, if Cocktober goes the way they want, they'll be standing at full attention. I'm just saying. Kentucky, you should handle them at home. Florida's another one of those, like Mississippi State, kind of trajectory-defining games for both of these programs. If South Carolina does want to become a playoff contender, right, you're probably going to go into Gainesville and win that game, considering the month of November that you're going to have to face there. You got to go into Gainesville and win that football game. Whereas Florida's another one that they're trying to return to the status that the Gators are used to having, right? In the early 2010 or in the early 2000s, in the late 2010s, in the early 2020 with what they had there in Florida. That's another one that I'm going to watch, not because I think it's going to be game of the year, not because I think it's going to be, something spectacular, but this is another one like Mississippi State, like I said, is kind of a trajectory defining game.
You're exactly right. This is the Mississippi State game cranked up a notch. You're going on the road to a bigger brand, to a bigger stadium, to a better team in all likelihood than Mississippi State. But it is the exact same. This is going to determine at this point you could pencil them in to be about maybe 4-1 going into this game. And this is, hey, are we gonna try to squeeze out 10-2 or a good 9-3, or are we going to be 7-5, 6-6?
Yeah. So I'd say the same thing about the Tennessee game. Josh Heupel, is, how do I put this? Because we got to do Tennessee tomorrow too. Tennessee, from an outsider's perspective, right? We're not in Knoxville. We're based in Tuscaloosa. We try and take off the crimson glasses when we talk anything Tennessee. By the way, dope as hell blackout uniforms for the Volunteers that they announced today. Those look phenomenal.
Shout out Adidas. The numbers on them looked really good. I thought the orange and the numbers popped real well.
Love the jerseys that they're doing in Tennessee with Adidas right now. But Tennessee, this feels like a defining year for that program as well. Heupel's been there a while now. He's gotten 2 wins over Alabama. How much longer can you ride that wave, though? How much longer can you ride the wave of 2022 and 2024? Because outside of those games against Alabama, you haven't beaten Georgia. You've really, really struggled with Florida. You went to the playoff and lost.
I don't see Josh Heupel getting fired as long as he wins 1 out of every 3 games against Alabama. You beat Alabama once out of every 3 years, more than likely at home. You know, you got to get back to beating Vanderbilt, too. I mean, they can't be the little brother in the state for a 5-year stretch when the little brother, now big brother, is Vanderbilt. That just can't happen. But
Heupel, to me, feels like he's a bad year away from being on a hot seat. Unless the wheels fall off the wagon and they're 2-10 this year. I don't see it happening this year.
We're close to
it. But if they're another 7-5, but if they go back to like that 7-5, 6-6, I think that puts him on a hot seat.
Like, it's not there yet. We haven't engaged in it yet, but another 8-4 and below year, and it's like, well, they've got the money.
The rumor mill is starting to float around now.
Yeah, they've got the money. They've got the stadium. They've got the conference prestige. I mean, the hard sells to these recruits ought to be hitting, but they're not. What's going on? But you're right. He's not there yet, but he's getting close to it.
He's not there yet. Another bad year, and I think we're having those conversations next July around Josh Heupel in Tennessee. Could be wrong, though. At Oklahoma on Halloween night, that's a loss. Texas, again, no disrespect, but that's going to be that offensive line needs to be top 5 in the country if you've got a chance to take down Brent Venables' defensive front there. Texas A&M, they've got that game circled, starred, highlighted, whatever the hell it needs in order to be focused on Texas A&M, because you gave up 30 points unanswered last season. You lost that game after leading it by 30 on the road in Kyle Field. November 7th is circled, starred, highlighted, underlined, whatever it takes to be focused on the Aggies. Then you get a very, very brief breath of fresh air going to Fayetteville, Arkansas in mid-November. And congratulations, South Carolina. Even if you're having a great season, let's say you have only lost at Alabama and at Oklahoma. You find a way to go win in the Swamp. You find a way to beat Josh Heupel in Tennessee. You find a way to beat Texas A&M. Here's Georgia. By the way, one of your permanent SEC rivals, Georgia. Okay, probably going to lick your wounds after that Georgia game now. Go to Clemson. And we don't know what Clemson looks like this season, but you got to go to the other Death Valley.
Lenore Sellers, I want you to listen to me right now. I know you don't listen to the show, but somebody get a hold of him.
He does.
Okay,
I've talked to him about it.
All right. Y'all are friends, and we'll let him know I said this if he's not listening. If you want to get drafted, if you want to play on Sundays in the NFL, and if you want to prove the doubters wrong of good in college, maybe won't transition to the NFL, put up some numbers on Halloween and the Saturday following. That Oklahoma-Texas A&M stretch is, I guarantee you, if there's an NFL GM out there that is looking into Lenore Sellers, he is going to have his scouts watch him on October 31st and November 7th. And he's going to say, if Lenore Sellers played well in those games, we're gonna open the book on him this offseason. If he kind of tapers off and maybe 150 yards, a couple picks, they're slamming the book shut on him.
I can see it. I can see it go either way.
But I mean,
I can see it go either way.
Those games could make him a first-round pick.
They could, or we're talking about Lenore Sellers being the steal of the draft on day 3. We'll go ahead and take our last time out for the radio side of things here on Tide 100.9. And when we come back, we will talk about our schedule and record predictions for South Carolina here on the Deep South College Football Show.
Now, this hour's West Alabama real-time news update from the Tuscaloosa Thread Newsroom.
Aaliyah is investigating an officer-involved shooting in Carbon Hill. 47-year-old Christopher Scott Randolph reportedly revealed a weapon when officers arrived on a welfare check. Gas prices rose again overnight by 2 cents in Alabama and here in West Alabama. 4th of July weekend produced 263 crashes, 129 injuries, and 4.
Another game day. But while he's glued to the TV, I'm winning my own way with Missed Play.
Let's go!
Missed Play rewards me just for playing free mobile games. I earn points and swap them for gift cards to Amazon, Uber Eats, and Sephora.
Yeah! We won!
And I just redeemed a Target gift card. Woo! Download Missed Play today and turn your downtime into rewards.
By Tidwell Chiropractic, the only third-generation chiropractor with over 28 years experience in Tuscaloosa. Call Tidwell Chiropractic at 752-7503.
Hey, this is Wyatt Fulton from Tide 100.9. Join us starting on July the 20th for SEC Media Days live from Tampa, Florida, presented to you by Pearl River Resort and the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. We'll bring you live updates, press conferences, and interviews from all 16 teams in the Southeastern Conference at SEC Media Days 2026 from Tampa, Florida, presented by Pearl River Resort. Join us starting July.
Hey, it's Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. Now, I was looking for fun ways to tell you that Mint's offer of unlimited premium wireless for $15 a month is back. So I thought it would be fun if we made $15 bills. But it turns out that's very illegal. So there goes my big idea for the commercial. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3 months, $90 for 6 months, or $180 for 12-month plan required. $15 per month equivalent. Taxes and fees extra. Initial plan term only. Greater than 50 gigabytes may slow when network is busy. See terms.
More summer. Celebrate free at AutoZone. Now through July 27th. Restrictions apply.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Here's your Tuscaloosa and West Alabama forecast. Sweltering sunshine, 93. Gentle southwest breeze. Keep the umbrella handy for scattered afternoon showers and storms. They'll fade away this evening. We turn clear overnight, 75. Friday brings more hot, sunny weather with a high 94. Storms likely Saturday, leading to a wet Sunday with periods of heavy rain. More storms expected early next week. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel for Town Square Media, Tuscaloosa.
It's 92 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Stay locked in, Tide fans. This is Tide 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC, the home of Alabama Crimson Tide sports.
Welcome back in here for the radio side of things. We got just a couple of minutes left in the program here, so we'll go ahead. Whitman, I'll start with you here as we'll throw back up the schedule for a reference point here. Whitman, your record prediction for South Carolina this season?
3-0, 3-1.
So we enter October 3-1.
We're hot. 4-1. Florida's tricky, man.
That Florida game's tough.
I'm probably going to lean loss. So we're 4-2.
Okay.
4-2. I feel good about clipping Tennessee at home because 4-2. I mean, your fight or flight mode kicks in right then, right there, with a lot of season left. Probably drop one to Oklahoma.
Texas A&M's homecoming, by the way.
I see that being I see 7-5, man. Like a good 7-5 though. Like losing in Bryant-Denny is no knock on a man.
Just don't get blown out.
Big deal. You lost in the swamp. Okay. Like, what are we gonna do? Put you in jail for it? You lose to the Florida Gators on the road. It happens.
It does.
You go to Norman, Oklahoma and lose a football game and you're not the Sooners. Life goes on.
Yeah.
Hello, Georgia. And then Texas A&M is probably like a really good team at this point because they've got the fraudulent 11-1 from last year to build off of.
Yeah.
Plus Marcel Reed getting that much better this year. And I could see them knocking off Clemson on the road to avoid 6-6. Go 7-5. I don't think Shane.
They did it 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think Shane Geep. If you're telling me Shane Beamer's going to lose at Alabama, at Florida, at Oklahoma, and you play Georgia, How do you fire a man for losing those games?
That's tough.
You don't.
It's really, really tough. Okay, I've got them starting out here when I look at this schedule. Kent State's house and Mississippi State 3-0. Same thing. Alabama, they lose in Tuscaloosa. They beat Kentucky. So again, we're in Cocktober now, and we're having a little fun. We're having a little fun with it in Cocktober. If you're South Carolina, go to the Swamp and lose. I think this midseason stretch is where South Carolina falls apart. They go to the Swamp and lose. Tennessee beats them. Oklahoma beats them. Texas A&M beats them. They beat Arkansas on the road in Fayetteville. Georgia blows the doors off of them. And Clemson beats them. I have South Carolina going 5-7, 3-6 in conference play. And Shane Beamer's out the door.
He's selling his house.
Even looking at the roster, right? Nick Harbord, Lenore Sellers, Dylan Stewart. The offensive line is such a big question to me.
Yeah.
And I don't think the talent around that offense is enough to make up if they have another bad season on the offensive line. If they have another bad season on offense, everybody, they're cleaning house at that point, I think.
What you mean. I mean, they've got the top line talent to compete with Alabama, to beat Tennessee, to beat Florida. They've got the top line talent to hang in a game in Norman.
1-3 compares to any 1-3 in the SEC in terms of talent at quarterback, wide receiver, and edge.
They can beat Texas A&M at home with their guys. They can keep it close with Georgia at home with their guys. They're top-end guys. Lenore Sellers on offense. Dylan Stewart on defense can break their back to keep them in these games. But that fourth quarter, you need all 11.
1, 2, and 3 out of South Carolina starting 22. Just as talented as anybody else in the country. Matter of fact, I'd argue Lenore Sellers is talented than most other quarterbacks in the country. If I'm taking quarterbacks off pure talent alone, I don't know that Lenore Sellers isn't in the top 5.
Top 2, 3.
Maybe top 2 or 3. Pure talent. He might be up there. He is up there. I think he's top 5 in pure talent. So 1-3, just based off talent, are on par with anybody else in the country. It's 4-22 that I'm really concerned about when I look at South Carolina. And it's not even necessarily 4-22. It's 23-46 that are probably also going to see a lot of snaps this season. I don't think 23-46, the 2 deep basically, which are all guys that are going to see reps this season, whether it be, rotations or injuries or poor performance, whatever the reason is, you're going to play over 40 guys this season if you're South Carolina or in the SEC at all. 1-3, great. 1-22, they stack up with some of the better teams in this conference. It's 23 through 45 that I look at and I go, I don't know that they're better than 23 through 45 at a lot of these schools.
Hell, 23 through 40 is what won Nick Saban 6 national championships.
Damn right.
The fact that his backups were better than your guys. I mean, it's a different world that these two are competing in, but, you're 23 through 40 or your season.
I'd love to eat crow here with South Carolina because I really like this program. I really like this coach, and I really like these players. I love the city of Columbia. Not the best one out there, but I had a ton of fun when I went out there for the South Carolina game. And those fans deserve to have success. Those fans deserve to be happy. But I'm just very, very concerned for South Carolina this season. That'll do it for us today on the radio side of things. Coming up next on Tide 100.9 Radio, the game with Ryan Fowler from 2 until 6 p.m. right here on Tide 100.9 and 12:30 a.m. WTBC.